Okay, this morning or today rather, I want to show you the trade that I took and explain what I saw on the chart. So firstly, there wasn't a H1 crossover. I ought to explain. Firstly, I've moved these verticals from the 5 a.m. bar to the 6 a.m. bar now, so if that looked a bit odd to you, then that's why. I mentioned before, I think, but I'll remind you again, I always like to be trading as close to the trigger bar as possible. In this instance, we got the alert at somewhere around 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. So this is the 4 a.m. candle, far too early for me to be interested in trading. There was a beautiful setup there actually, and as you can see, the price has dropped well over 60-70 pips since then. So I had to approach the chart slightly differently and get the second move, if you like, of the day, which was around about here. You don't want to be catching, the expression is falling knives. You're not chasing a trade, because you always want to be trading from the pullback, as I've mentioned before. And the other thing I wanted to mention was that how you have to be careful that you're not trading against a higher time frames alert in the opposite direction, and that actually was very useful to a useful tool, as it were, in the first thing this morning, because I'll show you what happened. So we had the alert. This is the new start of the new hour, and we actually reversed on the 15-minute. So if we had considered taking a trade based entirely on the 5-minute, we would have entered here and then had all this sideways movement. That was a perfectly good entry, apart from the fact that we were trading against a 15-minute alert to the long side. So what happened? Well, if we'd have waited for the 15-minute to alert, oh come on, there, then drop to the 5-minute. As you can see, the 5-minute immediately, because remember we have to wait for a pullback, the 5-minute was had immediately reversed. In other words, we were trading against a 5-minute alert in the opposite direction. And when we finally got the 5-minute alert to the downside, as you can see, everything was aligned then. The H1 was with us. The M30 was with us up here. The M15 was correct. And then finally the M5 came into alignment, and look how it just collapsed. A good 30 odd pips in 35-40 minutes or so. Now, so that was a perfectly good trade there, not taken by me. Now, I'm watching this pullback. I don't want to be taking anything around here until I've had a pullback of sorts. Looking at the 15-minute again, we can clearly see, first off, the 5-minute reversed quite early on, so we had to wait for a 5-minute to the downside. Now, if we had a 5-minute trigger to the downside, all we have to do is check our 15-minute hasn't reversed as well. Well, the 15-minute did reverse at that candle there. So we have to have a 15-minute to the downside, which happened there. And that's it. That's why I love this method so much, because you're constantly checking through the time frames, making sure you're never out of alignment, and it's just as mechanical as you can possibly get, I think. So now down to the 5-minute. Well, in this instance, I could see we were aligned in the right direction. I could see we'd come back and tested this 25 level, so it's just a question of dropping to the 1-minute and following the reversals there. So we had we had a 1 minute trigger to the upside, which means we had to wait to 1 minute trigger to the downside. Let's drag the trade onto the chart. Oops, not that one. Oh, come on, don't do this to me. There it is. Yep, I've waited for that trigger and taken it on the next minute. So, and that's it. Got my 8 or 9 pips this morning. It went sideways for a long time actually, which was a shame. But just set your stop, take the dog out or whatever, and then the weekend starts now. So, thank you for watching.